Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's wrap up this video with a feel-good story that takes an unexpected turn. Who knew a closing shift at an IT shop would lead to a lifelong friendship and a rescued puppy? Not everything you bring to an IT shop has to be fixed. I got the closing shift at the IT shop I used to work at when I was still in school. 10 minutes till closing, and I decided to get the sign inside already and start cleaning our display. That's when I heard the door opening, and in comes a guy from school. He's living at another part of the small town, and since we were both the same age, I knew he had no license. I'm from Germany. I was nearly 16 at the time of the story, so no driver's license, and it could have been a real pain to get here. I dislike this guy, always trying to show off his dad's money, and since he's not too bad at sports, the stupid girls all like him. And since he's got brains too, he hit the jackpot. No chance for like everyone, so I was quite irritated when Guy Perfect entered the store. Me, welcome at store, but I have to tell we are closing really soon. It would be best if you would just return tomorrow at an earlier time. I tried to be polite and did hope he got the message, but he just shook his head and went for the desk. I followed him because, well, I'm closing in 7 minutes and I don't want you to ruin that. When I reached the desk, I noticed he had placed a bag there, and bite me if I'm wrong, but that bag was moving. Last-minute repair orders for a bug-rotten laptop? Thanks, Schroeder Obama. Guy Perfect, sorry, but I have to ask you for a favor. I know we don't get along really well, but this has to be top secret, and my parents needn't know this. I was curious, so I opened the bag, and inside was a puppy. Not a badly damaged laptop or monitor or something, no. A cute little golden retriever puppy. They're definitely not IT. What would make him think bringing it to us would be a good idea? I asked him exactly that while petting the puppy. I mean, come on, it was just so cute, and he started to stutter while trying to explain. Guy Perfect, okay, you see, I was not looking for an IT store, I was looking for you. That's when your mom told me you were here, and here I am. I know this is sudden and you don't really know me, but I know some of your friends and they told me I could trust you with this. So please help me. Me. Whoa, wait a moment. What help do you need? And who would recommend me as a go-to guy if ever having a puppy? That's not bad at all. I just want to thank that person. So he explained, he told me he found this little guy when walking home, trapped inside a cardboard box, and took him to a vet as soon as he could. The puppy was not hurt, but he just thought, better safe than sorry. It was all right, but now he had one problem. His mother hates animals. She would scream whenever she saw something bigger than a fly. So for him, it would be impossible to take the little guy home, but he didn't want to bring him to a shelter. That's when he heard from one of my friends that I live beside a farm and used to help there when I was little, so I'd have the possibility to keep the puppy there and he would visit him every day. He knew he was selfish, but he at least wanted to try. I was touched, I really was. So I told him to grab the puppy and wait outside while I closed the shop. As soon as I was done, we both went to the farmer and told him everything. He laughed, but since he knew me for ages, he agreed. Guy Perfect was grateful, promised to pay us for our troubles, and went home. And this is the story of how I got to know my best friend of 9 years and now coworker. P.S. The dog still lives with the farmer. When the dog grew older, and we too, we realized it's best to keep him at his used surroundings, even though Guy Perfect wanted to take him with him when he moved out. That's absolutely adorable. Your friend wasn't as bad as you thought he was either. Bless you guys. And our second story. Dealing with a neighbor who doesn't want me to build a fence on my property. I just bought an urban townhouse, and the lots are quite narrow. This house hasn't been updated in a long time, and unlike all the other houses, it has a very short old chain fence on either side of the lot rather than a wooden privacy fence. The fence looks ugly. It's so short you can step right over it, and gives the surrounding houses a clear view into my entire backyard. So I mentioned to one neighbor that I wanted to build a more modern wooden privacy fence on my side of the lot. I was surprised to find that he was genuinely very upset. He said it'll ruin his yard by making it feel closed in and claustrophobic and shading his garden, and that he purposely bought this house because of the low fence between my yard and his. That seems like a bad reason to buy a house. I said I could try adding translucent panels where his garden is to reduce the shade, since that at least is a concrete issue that might be remedied. I was already thinking of doing something like this since my own garden would have the same problem, but it didn't pacify him at all. He still seemed really upset. In my jurisdiction, I have a right to build a fence on my side of the property line without neighbor input, and I will get a survey first to be certain where that is. I've always lived in high-rises where I can avoid seeing neighbors, so I have no idea how you're supposed to deal with this sort of thing when you could end up seeing someone every day. There are many months before any fence building will begin, so I'm hoping I just caught his emotional surprise response and he'll chill out and realize you can't expect people to keep their own properties the way you like them, and that I'm already being very nice by offering to add translucent panels to my fence for his garden, but who knows? Edit. It's freehold, no HOAs or anything, and not the U.S. HOAs don't exist here. The only thing standing between me and building whatever I want are city bylaws and awkward interactions with neighbors. Update. I built the fence. It was fine. The neighbor was somewhat annoyed and even threatened to sue me, but got over it, and we're on friendly terms now. I got the survey and some really good contractors to make sure everything was done properly. Loved the fence. Was definitely worth it. But in the future, I won't mention anything I'm building to any neighbors unless it's required by law. It seems like his reason to buy his house because of your low fence is BS. What it comes down to is your happiness. And our next story. Oh, I'll give you the student discount. So last October, I was working in a shop that specifically deals with Halloween-themed costumes. Costumes, decorations, makeup, etc. The place I worked is about an hour-and-a-half commute each way due to having to use buses, and it was retail, so no working from home. I would have to wake up, usually around 6 a.m., to be at the bus stop, a 20-minute walk, for 7 a.m. I would start my shift around 9 a.m. and go until close at 8 p.m., sometimes 10 p.m. closer to Halloween. So with that being said, you might be able to empathize with me when I was often pretty tired by the end of the day and was just looking to get on my bus and go home. At this shop, we had a deal that if you bought 4 items, then you got the cheapest free. We also ran a student discount. Keep in mind that you can only take advantage of one of those deals, and it's almost always better to take the 4th item free. So one day, close to Halloween, at roughly 9:45 p.m.-ish, a few girls come waltzing in. Now, it wasn't the first time something like this had happened. Usually, all I'd have to do is let them know that the shop was closing shortly, and every time I had done it, the people I had told were pretty understanding about it and were usually gone pretty quick. But not today. These girls came in, and I could almost feel the entitlement seeping out of them. But still, damned if I'll stay any longer than I have to, so I go up to them with my normal customer smile and say, "Hey girls, just letting you know the store's closing in about 15 minutes. Right then, one of them cut me off and said, "We know, we won't be long," and immediately turned to go towards the makeup and the mask section. I didn't think too much on it and just went back to starting the close-up procedure. Now, I was the only one in the shop, and I had the keys to close the shop, plus the safe keys to empty the register, but I couldn't open the till and start counting until the store was empty and the doors were locked. About 10 minutes later, and a lot of me trying to find something to do, I still don't see the girls anywhere close to finishing up. They'd been trying on masks and were looking through makeup. They had picked up some costumes, too, that I hadn't seen. I started to walk over to them and try to gently urge them to start checking out. The conversation went like this. Me: "Hey, we're going to be closing up pretty soon, okay?" Girl 1: "Hey, yeah, okay." Me: "Would you like to start making your way to the checkout?" G1: "We'll go when we're ready." Me: "Okay, miss." So I go back to the counter and just wait behind the till, expecting that they'll be here in less than a minute. 5 minutes go by. I've officially stopped being paid. I go to the girls, tell them that they need to finish up, and they could come back tomorrow. I get a clearly frustrated but compliant "fine." They come to the counter with 4 costumes, all roughly in the €35 price range, and I start to ring them up. I don't remember the exact figure, but let's say it was about 140. So I'm pretty annoyed now that I have had to stay this long. I know that it takes me about 10 minutes to do a cash up, and my bus leaves at 10:30 p.m., It'd mean I'd have to run from the store I was at to the bus station. Now comes the petty part. While ringing them up, I subtly mentioned that we do run a student discount if they were interested. Of course, they jump on it. The discount was 10%. I give it to them, and rather than them getting the 30-ish euros off their price, they get half that. I give them a smile and tell them thanks for shopping here and walk to the door with them. I lock up and start running through Cash Up as fast as I can. Long story short, I just made it to my bus as it was about to pull away. I felt a minor amount of gratification about making the girls who almost cost me an extra 30-minute wait pay more money. That's not enough. You should have let them take their time while you counted the drawer, and when they finally got to your counter, told them, "I'm sorry. I let you know we were closing. Please come again." And our last story. Karen demands I give her lazy son my dream car. Backstory. I recently bought my dream car, a Dodge Challenger SRT Superstock, blue with red stripes. Set me back almost $100K, but it's worth every penny. Cast. Me, Karen, Karen's lazy son, let's call him Jerk. Story. So I needed to get some groceries, and I figured this was the perfect time to take my new car for a spin. I drove to the store, got what I needed, and when I came out, I saw Jerk checking out my car. I know him from school. He's that guy who never does his assignments, always getting zeros, and somehow still expects to get things handed to him. He's in his 20s now, still living at home with his entitled mom, spending his days playing video games. I figured he was just admiring the car, so I decided to be nice. Me. "Hey, Jerk." Jerk. "Hey." Me. "You like the car?" Jerk. "Yeah, sports cars are cool. Can I have it?" Me. "What? No, this thing cost me $100K. Jerk. "I want it." Me. "No." He stormed off, and I thought that was the end of it. But boy, was I wrong. As I was loading my groceries into the trunk, I heard someone rushing towards me. I turned just in time to see Karen, Jerk's mom, swinging her purse at me. She didn't give me any time to react, and I got smacked right in the face. Karen. "Why won't you give my son your car?" Me. "Because my car cost me $100K, and your son's lazy and doesn't deserve it." Karen. "How dare you talk about my son that way? You don't deserve that car. My sweet angel is forced to drive that piece of crap." She points to a rusty, beat-up Ford Focus parked nearby. "You will trade your car for my son's now." Me. "Karen, this isn't the 1960s. I'm not a hippie who just hands over my stuff because someone likes it." She screamed and tried to hit me again, but I managed to dodge it and ran around my car with Karen chasing after me. I quickly unlocked the door, jumped in, and locked it before she could grab me. Karen was yelling and trying to open the door, probably thinking she could drag me out and drive off like it's a scene from Grand Theft Auto. I started the car, floored it, and sped off, with Karen hanging onto the window for a moment before she let go. As I drove away, I heard her screaming, "Help! He stole my car!" When I got home, I checked the news and found an article about what happened after I left. Apparently, Karen called 911 and reported that I stole her car, but when the police arrived, they checked the CCTV footage and saw what actually happened. They also ran my license plate and confirmed the car was mine. Karen was arrested for filing a false report and misuse of 911. As for Jerk, he got sent to military school. Hopefully, he'll come out a better person. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.